Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at a really interesting idea, divine appointments. We're going to explore this through the story of Joseph from the Bible, using a study from Fasioli Publishing called Day 5, Joseph's Life, Divine Appointments.
Tell me that specific study.
Yeah. And our goal, really, is to unpack how maybe even in those really tough, unfair situations, there could be a bigger plan happening. Joseph's time in slavery, in prison. It's quite the example.
It really is. And divine appointments, in this context, it seems to mean those moments, those encounters that, well, they might seem small or even bad at the time.
Yeah, totally insignificant.
Exactly. But later you see, oh, that was actually crucial, like a puzzle piece you didn't know you needed yet.
Yeah.
Joseph's life is definitely a powerful illustration of this.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. Those first hardships, being betrayed by your own brothers,
Yeah.
sold into slavery, and then he does the right thing with Potiphar's wife, and boom, prison.
Right, falsely accused.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If there's some grand plan, why all that? Why so much injustice? What's that about?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If anyone had reason to doubt, it was Joseph. These weren't small setbacks. These were life-shattering events.
Totally.
Maybe the takeaway is that the path God might have isn't always, straight. It's not easy or comfortable.
Yeah.
And seeing the purpose while you're in the thick of it, that's incredibly hard.
Right. Okay, so then the study points to this next phase. Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker, they land in the same prison.
Mm-hmm.
And these weren't just random guys. They were top officials, close to Pharaoh.
High ranking, yeah.
The study really frames this as, not just chance, but one of these divine appointments. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even in that awful place, maybe the people we meet, even in our own dark times, could be more important than we realize.
It definitely opens that possibility. These specific people ending up in the same place, same time, it does suggest something more than coincidence. It sort of highlights that even when we feel completely alone or stuck,
Yeah.
the connections we make, they might just lead somewhere unexpected later on.
And Joseph's reaction is pretty amazing, considering his own situation. The study notes how he actually notices these guys are down.
He's attentive.
Yeah. He asks them, what's wrong? Despite everything he's going through, it kind of hits home, How often are we maybe too wrapped up in our own stuff?
That's a challenge.
You might miss chances to connect, to help someone else, maybe even miss a connection that could be, significant for everyone later.
That's a really crucial point. Joseph's ability to look beyond his own suffering. It shows something powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah, character.
Right, character. And how we treat people, even when things are tough for us, really matters. Those small acts, that attention, maybe those are the divine appointments we're meant to show up for.
So they tell him their dreams, these dreams that are really bothering them.
Troubling dreams, yeah.
And Joseph's response is, well, humble. He says something like, don't interpretations belong to God, tell them to me.
Mm-hmm. He points away from himself.
Exactly. He's not saying, oh, I have this amazing gift. He credits God. It makes you think. When people come to us looking for answers or advice.
Where do we point them?
Yeah. Where do we point them? Does Joseph's approach make you pause and think about where real wisdom actually comes from?
Oh, absolutely. That humility is,
Yeah.
It's a strong reminder that true insight often isn't just from us. It comes from something bigger.
Right.
It definitely applies to how we handle knowledge or give guidance. Are we quick to take the credit, or do we acknowledge, the bigger picture, maybe other sources of wisdom?
Then come the interpretations. Good news for the cupbearer. Back to his job in 3 days.
Restoration.
But really tough news for the baker. Death in 3 days.
A stark contrast.
And Joseph just lays it out. Both messages. Truthfully. There's a real integrity in that, isn't there? Delivering the good and the bad, honestly.
Yeah, no sugarcoating.
What does that suggest about, the importance of being truthful, even when it's really hard?
It speaks volumes about integrity, doesn't it? Joseph's faithfulness there. It suggests that truth, even difficult truth, is essential. It also points to the responsibility we have when we sort of interpret things for others. We need to be accurate, straightforward, even if it's not what they want to hear, what we want to say.
So, after the good news for the cupbearer, Joseph does something very human. He asks him, hey, when you get out, remember me. Tell Pharaoh I shouldn't be here.
A plea for help, understandable.
Totally. He mentions he was basically kidnapped and is innocent.
Yeah.
This is his shot, right?
You'd think so.
But then that painful part, the cupbearer gets restored, gets his job back, and
Nothing. He forgets Joseph.
completely forgets him. Ouch. Haven't you ever felt that? That sting of being overlooked, forgotten, after you put your hope in something or someone?
Yeah.
How do you even deal with that?
Oh, that feeling is, yeah, it's deeply relatable. Being forgotten when you hoped for help.
Yeah.
The study acknowledges that feeling, the disappointment, maybe even despair. It's natural to feel like, what was the point? To question everything.
But this is where the study really pivots to its core message. God doesn't forget.
Ah.
The cupbearer forgot, but the bigger plan wasn't derailed. That delay, that waiting, it wasn't denial. It wasn't wasted time.
Not wasted.
And here's the really interesting angle the study brings up. Maybe the delay happened because Joseph was meant for more than just getting out of prison. He was destined to rule.
Wow. Okay. So bigger than just freedom.
Right. So all that time waiting, those interactions, even the forgetting,
Yeah.
it was all somehow setting the stage for this much larger role. Does that change how you might look at your own waiting periods or setbacks?
It definitely reframes things.
Could where you are right now be part of something bigger you just can't see yet?
Precisely. If you connect the dots later, like in Joseph's story, that delay wasn't random. It served a purpose. It positioned him perfectly for a role that saved, well, basically saved a whole nation.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, maybe our setbacks, our waiting times aren't just roadblocks. Maybe they're necessary steps, preparation, development.
And the catalyst, the turning point, years pass. Then Pharaoh has his dream.
The famous dream, yeah.
And nobody can interpret it. Nobody. And it's only then.
That the cupbearer suddenly remembers, oh, wait, there was this guy in prison.
Exactly. It's almost ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy who forgot him is the one who brings him up at the exact moment his gift is desperately needed.
That timing is incredible.
What does that say about how things can just click into place, connections resurfacing right when they're needed?
It's compelling, isn't it? The timing aspect. His memory wasn't jogged right away, but it happened precisely when Joseph's specific skill was needed on a national stage. It really reinforces that idea that timing is key, and a connection you thought was dead or forgotten. Maybe it can be reactivated just when it fits into that larger purpose.
So this study wraps up with this really powerful thought. Trust God's timing. Divine appointments are apparently never late.
Never late.
It encourages you, the listener, to be faithful where you are right now. Be open to the opportunities, the people, even if they seem small.
Pay attention.
Yeah. Because the ultimate message is, just like Joseph went from the pit to the palace.
Prison to palace, yeah.
There's potential for God to elevate you too in his perfect time. It makes you ask, what opportunities, what little appointments might you be missing right now?
That's a vital question, isn't it? Are we actually looking for those moments in our own lives? Are we paying attention to the people, the situations, even when we're dealing with our own stuff?
So wrapping up our deep dive today on Joseph and this whole idea of divine appointments, the big takeaway seems to be that even in really hard times, when you feel forgotten, there could still be a purpose unfolding. Those encounters that seem like chance, the people you meet, they might be crucial parts of a bigger plan you can't see yet.
And maybe a final thought to leave with everyone listening. Think about a time you felt really overlooked, forgotten. Looking back now, could that have been somehow a necessary step?
A preparation?
Maybe. And what divine appointments, big or small, might be happening in your life right now that you haven't quite recognized?
Lots to think about there. Our source for this deep dive was Day 5, Joseph's Life Divine Appointments, Daily Bible Study from Fasioli Publishing. They also have other things like Treasures of the Savannah, Obsidian of Freeman, Roots of Wisdom, Boabab Academy, and they do some coaching stuff too. Mentorship, Savannah Academy. Interesting material.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.